Okay, so I've been playing Monster Hunter World for quite a while now, and I'm just briefly gonna go over some of my thoughts. The game is super fun, especially when you're playing with friends. I like all the different weapon types because you don't see a lot of them in other games. Like the Switch Axe ended up being one of my favorites because it's just so creative. It kind of brought me back to Bloodborne because in Bloodborne they had all these switch weapons that were so creative and interesting to use. And I like how there's a little bit of a learning curve to each weapon. You can't pick them up and be a pro with them instantly. You have to kind of get used to them, get the feel of them. The speed of your weapon matters, how fast you can sheath your weapon. It's a very complex game and I really like that. And I really like the pace at which they introduced you to the game because they don't shove everything in your face all at once. You learn things as you progress through the game, and I think that made the experience easier to get used to. Although there were some things that they just never explained for some reason, and you kind of had to find out by going to the wiki or by asking your friend who already went to the wiki. I love all the different landscapes that they include in this game. You know, you get like the jungle, the desert, the ice land, and it definitely helps to make the game feel fresh as you progress. Fighting the monsters feels really good, especially when you break parts of them off, like when you cut their tail off, if you break their head or break their back or something. It just feels good because the weapons have this weightiness to them, and I love the range of diversity between all the monsters. Some of them have a ton of defense, some of them don't have a lot of defense but are super agile, and it made the experience really fun and refreshing. And honestly, fighting the same monster over and over was not that bad. In most games, doing something over and over and over again, it becomes monotonous and annoying, but in this game, somehow they pulled it off. It's still fun every single time you do it. That is until you get to the end of the game, when you finally beat the campaign and all you're doing is farming for monster gems. This is when the game gets really annoying because you gotta farm monsters for like hours and hours. I mean, as fun as it is, I don't like fighting the same thing over and over and over again for like 3 hours straight. At that point, it definitely does get monotonous. And as much as I liked all the different armors they give you, every individual piece of armor in this game provides a different buff that you can use. Some of them will boost your attack. Some of them will make it so you're not affected by the monster's screams as much. The problem with this system is that once you find a bunch of armor pieces that work well with each other and they work with your build, most of the time those armor pieces put together will look like shit. And you want your character to look cool, you know? You want to show your character off. You know, you work so hard to get all these pieces of armor and you finally have a character you're proud of, but for whatever reason the armor just looks dumb. I did like how if you collected a bunch of pieces of armor from a single monster, some of them have a set bonus, but at the same time, that makes the person have to choose between, you know, sacrificing some other attributes that they could have had. I really would have liked it if I could take the look of an armor set that I really liked and spend some in-game currency to kind of like fashion my character so I can put the skin of that armor on top of the armor that I already have and still keep the buffs and stuff that I have from my current armor while looking the way I want to look. They do have the samurai skin, which you can put over any armor set, and it looks awesome, and that's what I'm using right now. But I kind of wish they had more skins that you could use. I also wish that they included monsters that were very hard. I know that some monsters are harder than others in this game, and some of them are pretty challenging, but I want a monster that you can't beat alone, you know? A monster that is so hard that you need a team to go in and help you. You need to bring your A game, you know? You know, something that kind of reflects the Emerald Weapon boss from Final Fantasy VII. You know, an end game thing that you have to grind really hard to beat. And I know that they have like the same monsters but like super powerful versions later on, and those can be very challenging, but come on, it's just lame. Like, they're not daunting at all because they look like the same monsters you killed before, but they're just harder now. I really like the idea of the Palico. They're like the little cats that follow you around. I found them kind of cool. I like how in this universe cats aren't just cats, they have a lot more of a human element to them. You know, they can talk, they can fight, and I thought it was kind of cool how you could make them wear certain armor, make them carry a certain weapon. However, they kind of suck at aiding you in battle because whenever you're damaged, they float over to you and try and heal you. However, it felt like a common theme that whenever I was damaged by a monster, they wouldn't come and heal me until I was already healing myself. So they would kind of sit around and wait until I started drinking a potion, and then they would be like, oh shit, you need health? Let me come over and heal you. It's like, bro, where were you 5 seconds ago? So yeah, as cool as they are, they can be kind of incompetent, and I'm not saying you should rely on them in battle because you shouldn't. And yeah, every once in a while they do like come out of nowhere with a healing item and you're like, oh sweet. But in my case anyway, it felt like they were mocking me a little bit. And I know that you have items that you can use that will call them over, but if you're going to use an item, especially when you're in the heat of battle, wouldn't you want to use a potion that will heal you instantly instead of calling over your Palico to heal you? If the Palico is going to heal you, it should come over with a healing item as soon as you get damaged. Not every time you get damaged, mind you, but it shouldn't wait for you to start healing yourself. Also, I found in a lot of instances that the monsters would hit you in bullshit ways. Like they would swing their tail and you would obviously be out of range of it, and it would still smack you for whatever reason. This didn't happen very often, but when it did happen, it was really annoying. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Monster Hunter World. If you played this game, let me know what you thought of it in the comments below, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.